Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League presented by WTRL. Today, we are in with week number 3 of season 3. We are in EMEA West Division 1A men and women Division 3A is what we'll be covering for the broadcast today. I'm Nathan Guerra, and Russell's gotten up very early for me and drinking a lot of coffee, it looked like, while we were in pre-productions. All I saw was the bottom of a mug pretty much the entire time. So hopefully the Energizer bunnies are showing up for you today, and we'll just keep on going. It was interesting this morning watching APAC. I was hanging out in productions and seeing how things were playing out. And, this course could lend to two very different realities, I think. It does have the opportunities, but it's a big risk to take opportunities to try and get away, make something happen besides going for the sprints, because there's so many points available on the sprints, and then so many points for fastest across the segment also on the climb. A lot of people, I think, are thinking, man, let's keep the batteries charged.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I was disappointed. I think that was too strong of a word. But I think this course lends itself to some really great tactics. And I just didn't see too many playing out yesterday. I think people are kind of, like you said, Nathan, playing it safe, maybe sending a rider up the road for the sprints in the men's division were just rolled on through. Everyone seemed to be saving themselves for that climb. But, you look at the climb, there are going to be some people out there who are extremely good at that 3-minute power effort. So maybe try and get away. I hope we'll see that in the racing now, is that some people will have some team tactics, get away on parts of the course that you might not expect. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I would agree too. It'd be fun to see a little bit of try and get some advancement up the road. We'll see, because there is some opportunities. Take a quick look at the course, though. It is pretty interesting how it does play out. And the main thing that I would point out is on, the sprint is there every lap for 3 laps on this Gotham Grinder reverse, and then into the KOM after party. But the sprint into that quick right-hand turn. So you're about to see it right here. They go around that back end. They hit that right-hand turn after sprint. And right there at that orange marker and that long drag along the pond there, or is it a lake? I'm not positive. I've never actually been to Central
Looks like a
Park.
lake.
But that steady drag there, you were talking about what your team had attempted in the past, and I've attempted this many times on this course, is that is a 1% uphill drag for quite a while. And there is an opportunity because it's quite a kicker into the lap past that little banner. So, that orange banner, that is a section I think a lot of teams are taking for granted, where you put a really strong rider on the front, 3 minutes, they can get a solid gap, or maybe a couple of riders try to bridge across. Very good section for that. But besides that, I think everyone's thinking fastest through segment, fastest across the line, orange marker, and that KOM.
Yeah, and a really good point to make, there was a bit of discussion in the APAC broadcast, was that the first sprint, they will not have a power up. So people are sort of saving themselves apparently for the second lap, where they can use some of the power ups to get that fastest time segment. So that's why maybe in the first lap, that sprint may not be super contested, just because people don't feel like they're getting the assistance they need to set the fastest time.
It's a really good point. We did see Sam Cross this morning in the chat saying there was a little bit of a disagreement there. It was like he thought that maybe people were saving it for that second go because Arrow Power Up going to be the fastest segment maybe. But you were like, I don't know. We saw Lam Kong go full gas, and I'm not sure anyone beat her time afterwards. So, fresh legs versus power ups, that sounds like what the tension might be there. Now, somebody who can really float in the pack, though, they can save that energy pretty well. So I think today, especially with maybe a little bit larger groups, we might see some faster times and some power-ups being the game changer when it does come to that second lap. I might have to agree with Sam. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up playing out here. Let's go and take a quick look at the current situation here for the women's and the men's standings, and then we'll jump on down to the racing. It's a minute to go to the start of the women's race. So the women's standings right now, this is going to be the Team League standings for Season 3 into Week 3. 2 races down. Women's EMEA Division 3A with Team Electric Spirit.co. Chanticleer with 40 points. They've won both of them so far. That is in competition for the other longest name in existence in the Zwift Racing League that was happening last night. that Kate was pointing out. But Revo Arrows, then, they're holding down at 38 points in second place. Bristol Storm in third. It's going to be Femmes Fortes, powered by Stages, in fourth. Socks for Watts, they've got a team in here with SBR Cake. Jet Ladies Racing Team in sixth. It's going to be Alto Vilo Montebello in seventh. Rave a €2. We're going to have to get some of that house music in here with Rave being in here. I always love to see them. And then it's going to be SZ Sin, followed up by KRTA. Rocket Ride, not quite as dangerous as some of the other KISS names we saw earlier this morning.
Then we have in the Division 3B, Kirchmar Wild Bees ahead of the Belgian Zwift riders Cats 2. Herd of Galapagos Penguins, I love those herd names, in third. Socks for Watts Pizza Party in fourth. Evo Ice in fifth. Rave B Euro in sixth. SZURD in seventh. Sotonia CCWB2 in eighth. Ninja CC Ladies B in ninth. And WTRL Beeline in 10th. These are the hardest names this division.
I'm loving it. This is great. This is like, they really are having fun with these. The ninjas, I gotta give them the kudos. I always wanted to be a ninja. Maybe I am a ninja. All right, Bella B2 coming through here, numbering first in the C's for EMEA Division 3C. It's gonna be Belgian Zwift riders. The Bullets won with 36 points, tied with the WTR Drafting Dinos. Love the C, WTR and the Drafting Dinos. Very familiar name, especially coming over from the T. The Giant Camden Luna Chicks with 35 points. Very tight at the top. I'm liking this C category within Division 3 here. Giant Camden Luna Chicks then with fourth. It's going to be Ionians Diosas of TVT Furious, followed by Buddy Squad C. Rafa RCC Women C3. Then it's going to be BRT Wildcats, followed up by Setonia CCWC. There is no D category in this Division C3. So we'll head right on over to the men's standings, then we'll jump into the women's racing in just a moment here. Pre-production had us looking at the D's for a moment, so let's head on over and see what Team Italy are doing.
So Team Italy leading the field with 39 points, a couple of points ahead of Cryogen Val Thorens in 37, Team Tour 2000 Calais in third, BRT Hurricane in fourth, Quick and Dirty in fifth, Z Understatement in sixth, SZ Hermod at 7th, Team CLS Road Train in 8th, TT1 Asymptomatics, love it, in 9th, and DZR Dynamic Danes in 10th. Yeah.
That is a really great name, actually. Very good.
I just looked at it, was like, how do you even say that? I was like, I got it, yeah.
The Dirty Beast Hellhounds, they're in first right now, taking down both 1 and 2 in the B category for West 1 Division 1B. Team Electric Spirit, they've also got one over here with Gibson in second, 34 points. Lagging behind, though, but they're battling out for that second place with Team Netherlands B2. Glasgow Tricycle, 33 points, tied actually for third and fourth. Followed by DZR Road Rascals, 31, tied for fifth and sixth with TFC Magneto. KW Wheelers there, 28 points for seventh. We Belgian Zwift Riders Lions 8 for eighth right now standings. Ninth place Provision Racing, and then it is going to be Innovation Alien Horde holding down 10th for the league standings, currently coming into race number 3, excuse me.
And the C is TFC Thor in first. Pretty tight here too. Second and third locked up. RWB Serrano Sun and Team Electric Spirit.co Picklebacks in third. Fourth, Cranley CC Babs. Fifth, TBR 45 Tooth. A bit further back now, we've got 6, LD Sawyer's Squirrels. 7th, the BRT C-sectioned. 8th, Ninja CC Makango. And 9th, Z Sunderdogs. 10th, Team CLS Express.
And then our D category for this West 1 Division 1D. The RR Dangerous Rhinos are in first currently, with Team CLS chasing them in 37 points. The Delimited Diesels. Herd of Slippery Seahorses are in 36 there. The Cryogen Hard Not Pass are in fourth. It's going to be Revenge. That's a cool. I like Rev the Engine and Revenge in one name. That is really well done there, actually. Nice.
That's
nice
good. That's good.
Yeah. PWCCDs they're in sixth. It's gonna be Glasgow Greif in seventh, and then the no shows are gonna be the Cranley CC Last Orders. We'll see if they can get an order to the table, as I'm sure the waitress is still, or waiter is still waiting. So we'll see if they can get to the line. All right, so that's the situation currently as it stands. We're going to head down to the pictures in just a moment here. Just so everybody knows, we do have our social media integrations up. If you do want to interact with the broadcast, you have any pertinent comments, we'll go ahead and bring them in for the racing. The women have completed 3.3 kilometers so far. Let's go ahead and down to the pictures and see how things are playing out so far. This is going to be the Division 3As that we are in with, just as a reminder for everybody. This season, we are changing things up a little bit and really focusing in on a single division and as much as we can a single category to really try and bring out the story and the narrative of each and specific race out here today. A little bit of a sacrifice of being able to go across all of the categories, but at the same time, it does keep a narrative and a story for all of the viewers as best we possibly can. Jumping around and just all over the place did tend to stay away from having any kind of storytelling be able to happen. CeeLo now toward the front, though. Wood, and it's going to be Lightsgood. They're taking over, and there looks like everyone's pretty calm at this point. Very controlled pack. I think that's going to be the name of the game at the moment.
Yeah, but look at that. There is a little split there. It doesn't look like it's that wide. Maybe 2, 3 seconds.
Oh, there is.
Just in the distance there. So I think something happened. Maybe they heard our pre-production about, mix it up a bit at the start. And we've got a few that have been caught out, which is unfortunate because they're not that far back. But that front pack is pretty big and they'll be moving too fast now, I think, for this crew to catch up. So it's going to be a long day in the saddle for this team. And that horrific view of just the little sparkly Torons in the distance, not getting any closer. But we are seeing a rider here trying to bridge up so that they can jump on her wheel, maybe able to get back on. Nyberg there hitting that 4.2 watts a kg, but 5 seconds back now. I'm just not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, as you can see here, it does look like the Swedish rider off the back now at this point. We'll see if they can make something happen. Not sure that is going to be the reality, though, at this point. 8 seconds up. This pack is gone. About 40 riders up the road now at this point. So they are able to get rid of, and Bristol Storm, as we can see here, I believe, is just hanging on here with Stubbs. As far as the riders that have been dropped off at this point, it does look like it is going to be Bristol Storm and Team SZ. They were pretty high up in the standings, I believe, as well. So tough break for them. See if we can get some of the current. We'll try and bring that image over and over again to give an idea of like where things are standing amongst the riders for the current situation that is out on course. This is the women's standings, and as far as who is falling off here, Bristol Storm with third place currently, 34 points. Oof. They've already lost quite a few riders to this this little bit of a break. Well, at least one rider to this break. Sox Watts as well. SBR Cake, they also in fifth place right now. They've got 2 riders in this this group that has fallen off very, very early. Maybe caught out perhaps by that 1% uphill gradient we were talking about. Because, I mean, what else could have really done that damage?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but you can see how much that's blown out. It was sitting at 4 seconds. Now it's hitting around 14 seconds. I mean, a pack this size at the front is just moving so fast on these kind of rollers. So that's what I'm talking about. You can have some great strategies really early on that don't involve the sprint around these little ups and downs. You can just drop people off the back. And that's caught some pretty big teams like Bristol Storm off guard. What we're seeing here is they're just going through what I'd call like one of these sort of shortcut areas where the map sort of flattens out in that top right-hand corner. And then they'll be coming around. And it looks like, I think after that, they will be nearing that sort of sprint part of the course. So I think it started pretty fast and furious and has settled down somewhat now. Those pretty strong power still being dropped 6 kilometers into this first lap.
Yeah, it does look like they are trying to make it interesting. Looking at the front here, a little bit of surges. Garrett now, it looks like a little bit of a move. It's going to be at the Gott as well, trying to maybe break things apart. Now it's going to be brought back together. AVRT now making their way toward the front. Jet now as well. Take a look at the jerseys. Recognize them in game, everyone. These are going to be the jerseys that the teams are using and wearing throughout the season, and they are requested to use the same jerseys across the team, so it will make sure that they can be recognized very easily by both the broadcast as well as other riders. Really, I think the main thing is trying to recognize who's who amongst the riders as you are watching the avatars and who's making moves. Sox Watts, they do have a couple of riders toward the front of this, so it doesn't look like anybody's been not the entire team has been caught out. They did lose 2 riders to that initial break. SZ now trying to take over toward the front. Looks like Green Is actually off the back. Excuse me. So
No,
not
it
a
looks
part,
like maybe
not a
off the
part of the
back.
race.
Yeah.
Green's off the back here, but a little bit of a move. And in the Zwift, I think that's going to be the Bristol team that we were talking about earlier on, using that Zwift turquoise and black kit. We'll try and get a little bit of familiarity with the kits here and let everybody know exactly who's what, where, and how. But this first sprint's gonna be coming up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, for sure. We do have the sprint where it is it kind of rolls into it. It goes up a little bit here, then it dips down. The sprint actually starts on a slight downhill, but then with about 80, 100 meters to go, it kicks up to 4%. And like I said, I don't think we'll see any power ups being dropped on this first lap, but on the second and third, I do believe the feather is the best one for the sprint because you drop that feather just before the little kicker, you get a little jump forward, and you can carry it through after the sprint because it's danger time after the sprint. Goes up to 4%, and if you're not on, it gets dropped off. And they've just started here, and we're saying already lot fee here from Canada, opening up the watts, 10 watts a kg, but Tamuro here from Jet, from the States, pushing through ahead with that Aquatron. Looks like she's going to take this out, yes, over the fast-flying Lykeberg from SC, just coming up in second place. Now, does that mean that I've proved you wrong there, Nathan? We talked about at the start that they may not contest this first one because they wouldn't have power ups for fastest time segment. That looked like a contested sprint to me.
Oh yeah, that was 100% contested. 100%. Now the whole idea of contesting. I'm not sure I used the word contest, but the fastest time I think maybe set the second time around. But we'll see. That was pretty intense. That was absolutely.
That was hot.
Yeah, very much so. So we'll see if they can better that because that was absolutely amazing wattage coming on down. Let's go. We're going to head out. It's 1:31 to the start of the men's race. We're going to take a quick look at that real quickly. I do see that our images are starting a little bit. We're going to take care of that issue as well, everybody. I do know that is happening, so we'll just make sure that we get a quick little fix on that. But 1:17 to the start of the men's race. They are lined up and ready to pounce right now. So that's going to be the men's. We're in with the West 1A, just as a heads up to everybody. We're going to go ahead and make a quick fix, though, here for everybody because I know that stutter is probably absolutely bugging everyone like crazy. So let's go ahead and fix that up for you.
And if anyone is watching this race and can tell me a little bit about this Team Jet, because the Jet crew is wearing that Zwift fluoro kit, and I kind of believe anyone who picks the Zwift fluoro kit is here to party. And I would be interested to know a little bit more about them because they did very well in that sprint. We're already seeing a rider from the Jet crew coming out the front here, Shibata from Japan, just behind Wood, dropping that burrito power up. And I think this might be quite a competitive team. Looks like they've got quite a few up in this top group, along with Team Rave, who seems to be doing very well in this front group, and Evolution as well. So looks like L'Equipe Provence has got a couple of teammates up there. Socks for Watts. I'm just looking at Zwift Power. Maybe just one rider in this front group, so maybe didn't make the split after that. But we'll have to have a look. But yeah, interested to know a bit more about this Team Jet. I just think they could be one to watch out for sure.
Yeah, we've seen them around a little bit here and there. They are definitely starting to make a name for themselves still amongst the Zwift Racing League. We've seen them once in a while, I think once or twice in the WTRL TTT. Japanese team, it seems, and Endo, as we do see Shibata as well as Gata. Looks like that is going to be it. 3 riders that have made this front group. They're also using the Technicolor, which is one of my favorite. Loving their setup too. As far as the fashion police go, I think that just missing the matching gloves, maybe matching helmets, or are you good with a little bit of accessory change up there?
See, what I'm quite liking there is they had the white gloves and white shoes and pink socks. It's still kind of all tied in with the whole kit look. So it, accidental drop of the feather there, I do think. But yeah, they're looking really tight. And no, it looks like 2 Socks for Watts riders actually have made this front group. Seeing a lot more power has been dropped at interesting parts of the course. This is a very flat, long segment by the lake or pond. We have to get someone who's from New York to tell us if that's a lake or a pond. But they maybe accidentally dropping those, or as we're seeing there, could just be very, very fatigued. I mean, we're looking at some pretty high heart rates already, heading into what I would say is quite a chilled out part of the course. So, not sure why so many power ups just got dropped then.
Perhaps the 1% uphill gradient here is definitely what was, well, not definitely. I mean, I would think perhaps somebody was struggling. It might have been very difficult at this point. I mean, that kick, you wouldn't think it looking at this section, but this section has put me into a lot of trouble in the past, not recognizing how incredibly fast that this tack can roll away. If you're sitting in the back here, like we do see Shibata, tucked in the draft, it's pretty simple, but you've got about you're 5-10 meters off the back from this point right here, and that speed, as you can see, gets up to that 57. They start super tucking, and you're full gas orange numbers to catch back on. So I think everybody was in a little bit of concern just to make sure they don't find themselves in that kind of a position.
Yeah, and look at this team Jets have taken some leadership roles at the front of this course. Now we do come down here, we take a left-hand turn, and we go past what I call the baseball fields. You can just see a little glimpse of them there on the left-hand side. They go through a little shortcut part, and then they take a left turn. This is the part after that second left turn where I think would just be a perfect time as a team, drop a burrito and do an attack off the front. Goes up to about 4% for almost a kilometer, and then you go into a long downhill that if you've got a good lead, you can use the momentum of a few teammates. So I've tried an attack here before that has somewhat worked. At least it puts the group under a bit of pressure. But the issue, I think, with this New York course, though, is that people can just get so tired after the sprint and then the Catpoor Hill to round out each lap that even the thought of attacking is just a bit too much at this stage.
Yeah, it does make things very, very nervous. It has to be it has to be your plan. That's all you're doing on the day, right? Like, there really isn't anything else that you can put any trust in at that point if you're going to try and make those kind of attacks. And pulling those kind of sacrifices does take you out of the race otherwise. But if you can play that role and do it well, it can definitely play into a team's, into a team's tactics. Some of the other teams do have to make the chases then. So we'll see if anybody really wants to try and make something happen. It does look like we do have Weedy here now making a little bit of move. This can be Team Rave. Can recognize the kit, that's for sure, with the free speed kit. Good to see them on the front. A little bit of a kick, now backing off. 181 says that's enough of that. Wood now to the front, as you can see in the orange here. 171 beats per minute, hammering away. That's a good move.
Yeah, that's good watts there as well. Now, this would be, if you had a teammate, now you drop that burrito because you can still somewhat draft on a sort of 3 to 4% climb, flattens out, but needs the teammate there as well to jump on up. Otherwise, it's sort of a little bit of a sacrificial attack because that group behind is just going to have too much momentum on the upcoming downhill. So, yeah, it wasn't quite how I think it would work out. And if you look at the teams that are well represented there, Socks for Watts, we saw a Rave Rider, we've also got that Jet team. They're just sitting in the back and chilling out, really. I know that they must be focusing on those sprints and have a climber in the pack who's just saving their legs.
Going to go ahead and jump on over to the men's race quickly here. It does look like they're starting to hit up the exact same section, of course. And as they do, it does look like Cryogen taking over toward the front. Lots of Cryogen riders actually on the front end of this pack. It does look like it's going to be M here from also Quick and Dirty, but nothing but the blue and white there for a moment. The Team Italy is the current leaders, I believe, in this category, so be on the watch out for Team Italy. They had a pretty, I think, solid command on the top end of this with 39 points. Cryogen Valthorans are going to be the other team toward the top of this as well. So take a look here, and you can see it's going to be Team Italy, Cryogen Thorns, and then it's going to be Team Tor 2000 Callus. Tor 2000 Callus, I do believe, are using that WSR kit, if I'm not incorrect. At least that's been the kit that they've used traditionally. That's going to be the all blue, light blue, moving up on the right-hand side of your screen. Team Italy do have an in-game kit. Very easy to recognize. You can see the Italian flag on it. Team CLS, as you can see there as well. BRT in the orange and black. SZ, always very recognizable. And Cryogen with the white and blue. WTRL are in here as well, looks like. Now to the front, though. Team T2K, as you can see with Revel on the front. I really think this is going to be the team to watch out for on a course like this. I've always known them.
Here, I thought maybe because there was a team time trial on a similar course to this last season, and obviously most people went with discs. But most people on Trons. I mean, there's a couple of climbing setups, and I think they've just been chosen because that person may not even have a Tron bike yet. And you did say at the start of the show, I think people are just nervous about that 14% kick when they head up that KOM, and they just don't want any weight dragging them around. And I guess it's also the sort of pack choice. If everyone's going Tron and no one's on a disc, then no one's got that kind of disc advantage in a sprint anyway. So yeah, I was surprised though, but yeah, I guess Tron is sort of the safer choice.
Yeah, I think that is something early on. I mean, in pre-production, that definitely was the conversation. Was like, look, the reality is that when you hit that climb, 17% may slow you down too much. Because it is all about speed. When it comes down to these bike choices, the draft and what you get from the draft is dependent on speed, how fast you are going, and so with a 17% uphill grade, I think a lot of people are thinking, look, we're going to slow down so much that the weight difference is going to be more important than whether or not I'm cutting through, the CDA, because there's no actual virtual air, but whether or not I'm cutting through the aero side of things. The uphill battle, I think, is what they're really going to be worried about and thinking about here. Cryogen, this is an interesting little bit of a go. Looks like they're trying to get off the front here, and I think this is a good move at this point. Yeah, very good move at this point, because it's going to force some of these other sprinters team to try and put somebody on the front to chase this down and maybe burn a couple of matches from those who need to be involved, because they might not be organized enough to shut things down. So it does look like Cryogen have shown up with a plan, but T2K are going to the front and taking over with Beck.
Yeah, I mean, these guys don't want to come to the first sprint with a pack of, I mean, it looks like about 70 people here, this pack. You don't want to come to a sprint with that. There needs to be some kind of a concerted attacks prior to this happening. They're hitting a little bit of a downhill now, and it'll kind of go up a little bit. Just the New York course, the nature of it, always ups and downs. I did see that Greenlaw rider from Cryo, who went off the front, did have a disc wheel, so their role in the team could be purely to mix things up on the parts around Central Park before they hit the climb. So that's always good too. The thing I'm finding great about the racing league is there's so much thought that goes into bike choice that sometimes you can determine a team's strategy just by looking around and seeing what bikes they're on. So if you're seeing someone with a big climbing setup, that rider is targeting the climb, and so you kind of don't worry about them for any of the sprints, and then make sure you get on their wheel for the climb. So love that too. We are seeing SZ here with a big attack, early attack leading out into the sprint. This is what we saw yesterday with Evans taking a big lead in a gap, but it looks like it's been closed down this time by Quick and Dirty M there at 8 watts a kg.
Yeah, Quick and Dirty maybe being the lead out man. No, opening things up, actually, looking to just take down the sprint perhaps. This is interesting to see. Not sure this is going to be able to hold on to it. 12 watts per kilogram, 842 watts. Here comes Eckhart now from the Cryogen team, up and over the top, but is it going to be Cena Lindquist with a solid counter right to the line? He just noticed it there. Z-Sun almost coming through. The Z-Sun rider might have been the fastest through the segment, though, because he came on so incredibly fast, but not the timing you'd be looking for to take down the first across the line. What a sprint. This is going to be a battle in this men's A, as you can see. I mean, there was so many riders contesting that sprint. Absolutely awesome to see. Now a little bit of a feather power-up. Interesting to see. Maybe...
Sweetie mistake, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's not exactly what you want to be using exactly at that point, especially with the reality of this climb that's coming up here in just a moment. I mean, we're about to see a full gas, I think, counterattack, because now the speeds here that we're seeing amongst this pack, they're going to head into that lap banner in just a moment, and this kind of speed and how quick they're going to hit this next session, that 4% uphill grade, nobody's heart rates are down. 183 beats per minute. This is going to be perfect timing to counter.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see a burrito being dropped there. The interesting thing about the burrito, they changed the dynamics of it so it removes the draft from a whole radius behind that rider, but it does only last 10 seconds. So it's kind of like the invisibility. It's not a defining power up like we would have said the steamroller was contentiously last week, but still kind of useful. I think maybe with a smaller pack, I think the pack's a little bit too big at the moment for that power up to be effective. But when you've got maybe 15 or less riders, I think it's good. We're seeing a lot of feathers being dropped here. Just coming into this end of lap 1. Big climb that comes over, and they'll get a new power up as they cross that start finish banner of each lap and hit a little bit of a flat and then a downhill. So everyone, surprisingly, the pack's spreading out, but not as many riders as I thought dropping off the bat. A couple ones and twos, but there hasn't been a pack split.
Yeah, no split just as of yet. Higgy now, a little bit of a kick. We did see Crank trying to make a little bit of a move, quickly getting swallowed up. Now we do see the riders though that were on the limit. They are definitely struggling now at this point. I do believe we just had a sprint. We'll get a replay of the women's sprint that just came through, I believe, just a moment ago. We'll see if we can find that for everybody, as they're in very similar sections out on course here at this moment. So we'll be bringing those in as quickly as we possibly can. Z-Sun, interesting. Looks like they stealing some of the countrymen here coming out of Sweden. Some of the SC boys might be wondering, what are you doing on the other team here? Does look like they're very well represented in this pack. I'm seeing at least 4 jerseys here from Z-Sun. So they've showed up to race here for today for sure. Does look like plenty of the teams though still represented. Not too much of I mean, there's definitely been some teams, riders dropped off, but it looks like most of the teams still have made some representation in this group. And with how many points there are across that KOM banner, I think plenty of them still have lots up for grabs, and nothing is said and done yet.
Yeah, exactly. They will hopefully, you can see the heart rate there now, 154. Things are settling down. This is the long, I'd call this the recovery portion of each lap. It's that long, sort of flat part next to the lake that you can drill in, get that heart rate down as you then take the 2 left-hand turns and hit more of the rolling terrain where you have to just be on the lookout for any kind of attacks. I mean, big crew as well, still in lap 2. I'm a little bit surprised with how spicy that sprint was, that a few people didn't get pulled off the back and caught out with the climb after the sprint. It is a really tricky sprint, even though you can see the finish banner of the sprint for the whole time, which makes it easier than some where you sort of twist and turn. With that climb, it's pretty brutal if you've put in a full effort, then have to sort of climb a few pedal strokes out of the end of the sprint.
It is pretty brutal. The riders, if you do get caught out at all during this section, said the speeds are so incredibly high, very, very difficult. Let's talk a little bit to the situation on course though, as far as the streams go. For the women's race right now, let's go ahead and take a quick look and see how things have played out as they have made their way through 2 of the sprints so far. It does look like Jet, the team that you had on your radar, they've been pulling off a lot of the points so far. 28 and 25 at the top, coming from Raitamura and Gada. It does look like fastest through the segment has really been the one that we need to be watching out for on the day as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this proves my theory that fluoro Zwift kit, if they've chosen it, this is a team that is one to watch. I just think that that kit is loud, and it's a sort of come look at us kit, and look at them first, second, sixth with first across line and fastest time segment points. I mean, that's a big haul. There's not many other teams. There's Revo there, 4th and 5th, and one rider from SZ, but wow, Jet has rolled away with a lot of those intermediary points, which is fantastic. And they've made that front bunch, which means they're going to be getting points at the finish line as well, you would think, unless they've burnt too many matches.
Looking through, and interesting to me is that I'm not sure that Raitamura has made the front group, but she is currently second overall on points. I'm looking through this front pack, and I have a feeling she may have been going. That may have been just from the first time through, though. That's probably what that was. Because she did get first across the line first time through. But the fastest on the segment looks like got her there. Maybe taking that on the second lap. We don't know. I'm just going to leave that one alone. But we don't have any confirmation. But it does look like we have a front group of about 16 here. Endo sitting on the back, getting a solid draft now at this point. I want to get an idea across these jerseys, though. The orange kit here is interesting to me because they have been very aggressive so far. Definitely a force to be reckoned with when it comes to thinking about what Jet may need to be worried about on the day. This is going to be This is going to be Bowler at the front end of this pack.
Bowler, yeah. And I'm
Anastasia
just
Bowler.
looking
This
to,
is Team Electric Spirit. They're the current leaders,
yeah,
actually. So that's who this is. Team Electric
yeah.
Spirit CO.
Yeah, and there's also one rider in here without the rest of their team, but do want to note Whitney Post from I Race Like a Girl has made this front pack.
Oh,
I've raced against Whitney, so she's no joke. Great rider out there and averaging some of the lowest watts a kg in this pack, which is always a bit of a danger time because it looks like she's saving her legs. Has some pretty good numbers to watch out for. So do believe that, yeah, Whitney Post, keep an eye on her. But there is a rider I'm just noticing with huge 20-minute power. Not saying that shows much for sort of what we're looking at, about a 3 to 3.5 minute effort on that final KOM, but these Team Electric Spirit.co riders have some serious FTP numbers.
I wonder who she is guest riding for, because I'm not sure I Race Like a Girl is in the. I'm looking through this, and I believe it was Bristol Storm that was in that kit, if I'm not incorrect. But I may be wrong. But see, I Race Like a Girl, he is going to be guest riding for someone, Whitney. We'll see if I can figure out exactly who. Gonna go ahead and look through a few of these kits here and try and get an idea. It is gonna be the Bristol Swifts that are using that kit. So I'm assuming that is going to be who Whitney is guest riding for, and that's a good pickup actually. With the kit that she is in here, she is on that orange Tron bike, so it does look like she's decided to go for a little bit of a climbing situation for the climb out here today. Yep. What do you think? I mean, you seem to be of the opinion that the Tron is not the pick of the day.
I mean, I'm never a huge fan of all the safe options, right? So I find the Tron is it's always the safe, easy option. It's the all-rounder. It's the one that, where you're not quite decisive enough. And I remember, Nathan, in season 2, you had really great advice, which was you've got to pick the bike for the decisive point on the course. And the decisive points on the course here are the sprint points. And then you've got pretty much a 3.5 minute full power effort up some gradients. So I don't know, I find the people who pick more specific bikes for those parts of the course are sort of playing the game a bit better, whereas the Tron, it's sort of, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the Tron. But to be honest, it looks like 99% of people are on that, so I'm getting a little bit proved wrong here. Maybe I just want things spiced up too much.
All about the whiteboard. I think that's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
There needs to be something to talk about on the whiteboard for some classes. For some of the classes. So, Team Rave,
well, it's amazing how much there's so much team chat. I'm across 3 different teams. The team chat on bike choice is all weekend long. And then I look at the race and everyone, I think, panic goes to Tron 20 minutes before the race start. I've already seen comments on that. People have seen the APAC, they're watching EMEA now, and they're going, oh, I'd spent the whole weekend deciding on my setup. I think I'm just going to go Tron. So I think it's that sort of last minute, oh no, this is safe option. And that's what we're seeing.
Real quickly, I do want to highlight that Team Rave, they have made this front group, but only a single rider in here. So Team Rave, they were sitting, from what I can see, in 8th place. So good on them. We always like to bring in a little bit of their theme music here when we're out on with Team Rave, just because I absolutely love these guys. We got to hang out with the Euro crowd, the round of Netherlands. Can Rijken make it happen is going to be the question. Was she involved here at all with the sprints and the points? Was she able to grab any of them? Because if she has made this front group, it's going to be interesting to see if she's able to do something with that. They're going to need it, that's for sure, with only one rider.
Yeah, I didn't see her name on those points. Yeah, no, definitely not there. It was that Revo, Jet, and one rider from SZ. So potentially saving the legs for that final climb. Although, I think you'd be struggling to get past Jet now on those points if they've got this many, 3 riders in the front pack going for the KOM. Even if they don't win it, there's enough people near the front that they'll pick up a lot of points. So, yeah, it's sort of a bit unfortunate if you've only got one teammate in there. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, especially when you're seeing, from that view, a couple of Revo riders as well.
Jumping in with the men here, we do have the opening up of the sprint. Here it is going to be MZ Sun hammering toward the front now. Here come the arrows. This is what we were talking about. The speed's going to be insane. 62 kilometers per hour right now. Hallam to the front now. 67.
Whoa.
Does he got the jump? No, Ned Bowen through. 13 watts per kilogram. Holding on over Milk from the BRT team. Holland just holds on. These kicks are insane. I mean, absolutely.
Wow.
Speed is just amazing. Now we're having some feathers coming through. We could see some serious counters, and I think riders might be struggling just to hang on now.
And what's happened to Bowen? Was that a dropout? They went to 0 for a very long time, and I don't know if that was their job done for Bowen, but he was moving back extremely quickly. Not sure if he's managed to
he's
tap
gone.
back on.
He's just
Wow.
done. He's pedaling. He's pedaling, but he is done. He is done. Gone. I mean, that was it. Ned Bowen's done his job, and he said goodbye, boys and girls.
Yeah, love that team tactic. That's what I love. You know, a sacrifice, you're hitting lap 2, you're going for that sprint. That's your job. Once you've finished it, drop to 0 watts and you can just cruise the rest of the ride. I mean, it's hard because your cruise involves a KOM at the end, but I mean, perfect. Took the win, took those huge, huge orange watts, did it with a visor, which is phenomenal because that definitely adds a lot of drag. And dropped off, job done.
This is absolutely coordinated here coming in from the team right now of Cryogen. Cryogen put in a serious counterattack, and now it was going to be Team 2 toward 2K. I think they're in a little bit of agreement, actually. We have a Z-Sun rider who is being caught, actually. That is not a rider who is off the front here at this point. So it is going to be now Rebel, though. That is the rider that was instigating. Now we're going to have some counters into this 4%. Now 9% uphill gradient. Now a little bit of a kick. Here come the feather power-ups. And it's going to be Cryogen again. They want to make something happen. They are not messing around
Yeah,
this
is good. This is good riding. I like this. It's aggressive. They're going for sprints. They're pushing every climb. We saw them right early on in lap 1, sending riders off the front, attacking. This is the kind of racing I like. It just spices things up, makes it really hard for the riders behind. They've got a full suite of 6 riders. They're not afraid to sacrifice some. Great tactics, Cryogen. Loving it.
Back in with the women now. Jay Wood here coming over the top. And no, it's going to be Kutzer with Socks to Watts SBR 5.3. Arrow power up being thrown. There is the segment marker. She's got a little bit of a gap. We've seen this work a couple of times. Endo tries to come across. Are they going to be able to hold on? Here comes the jet coming through. Shibata again. But no, I'm not sure it's going to be Shibata to the line. It's actually going to be Let's Go. Let's Go. Coming out of Poland. Taking it down for late equip. Nice little kick. I'm actually loving this kit that they're using in game as well. This is pretty sick, I have to say.
Yeah, L'Equip. That's amazing. That was a fast flying into that. She just came through. I thought Shibata had it.
Well, everybody got the ghost power up around her. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody got the ghost power up on broadcast, so she got around.
And on a different bike setup there. So she was on looks like the Canyon Aero Road 2021 with some deeper dish wheels. Not the disc, but definitely some deep dish wheels. So could have made a little bit of a difference there. I do think maybe because all the others were on the Trons, maybe just couldn't get that acceleration up quite so fast. I am seeing coming through from the socials too that there's someone in this front group called B. Hallam. Apparently if it's Ben Hallam, it's an ex-pro cyclist from the UK. So maybe one to keep an eye on.
See if we can find Helen and see how he's doing out there today. It's been very fast and punchy racing so far. They've actually made it a lot more exciting that we've seen, at least at the pressure points. And you were talking about that a little bit earlier, how important it is, not just for the bike choices. You know, you want the crucial sections of your bike to do what it needs to do to get you into those brakes, into those packs so that you can sit in, so you can reserve your energy and then use that energy during the most crucial points as well. You know, there's also the reality of using your energies at the correct times. Obviously, bike racing is a chess game. A lot of times, it's tactical. It's whether, you know, that was one thing about road racing up front that I definitely did not understand or appreciate as much as I do now. Actually, was I always was like, why isn't the strongest person just winning? Like I was always like very like I know Like, I mean, I'm serious. Like early on, I was in mountain because I was early on for myself in mountain biking. Just as a little personal story to bring this to light, because I think there was actually a post recently in one of the WTRL. I think it was either Zwift Racing League or it might have been the TT, but there was a post from a rider. I think it was a man. He was posting. He said, "I'm in my 50s, I believe. I've just started racing C category," and he said, early on, I'm just walking away in C category. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. And then he jumped into the B category and just got it handed to him. It was just like off the back. And I was like, I relate a story to that because same thing happened
Wait a
to me.
sec, let me just pour my coffee here for the story, Nathan. Let me just pour a coffee
Well,
and get comfortable.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
real
get
quick,
going.
real quick. I mean, I know I am being very long-winded on it, but the reality is that there are these jumps that happen, and it does come down to some tactics and appreciating those tactics and those crucial times. Being a smart racer amongst the pack and using your opponents and then taking them down at the best points that you possibly can. It's extremely tactical, and I think the way that you talk about bike choice, the way you talk about how you go and use the pack, you got to. It isn't just pressing the pedals hard. That's for sure. That definitely it just comes down to that at those crucial moments. But you got to know exactly when, where, and how to use those moments. And actually, on the World of Zwift, we talked a lot about that this past week, about Zwift racing and the points out on course that are the most crucial for that, especially after what we saw with the steamroller last week.
That steamroller, I mean, when you had it, you loved it. If you didn't have it, you thought it was the worst power-up in the history of Zwift. So that made some definite game-changing results, having that steamroller power-up. I know for myself, I didn't have it, and it was very, very frustrating. But we're not seeing many attacks now going off the front. I thought there was a cryogen rider who just sort of pushed up. We are seeing Valero there as well, but they sort of dropped back a little bit. So I think everyone's being a little cagey now heading into this lap, probably saving a touch of energy. I've had some thoughts come in on why people aren't on the Specialized Tarmac Pro with some Zip 454s for the final climb. I do think that's actually a really good setup. The problem is I used that once on the Innsbruck course, and you do lose a lot of the draft in the pack. You don't lose the draft, but you sort of lose the energy savings from a more slippery bike like the Tron. And I found through those sprints, you do need that faster, slipperier bike. Just if little gaps are formed to sort of get back on again. It was really hard work with that tarmac and those wheels to get back into the bunch. And you sort of lost a lot of energy.
Looking at the front end of the race here, it does look like SZ are looking to take over. We'll be coming on through for a second time for both the men and the women the third time for their sprint. Team Italy, they were the leaders coming into the race. We're going to try and get some sprint premiums up for the men as quickly as we possibly can, but for the men's standings currently, the situation is Italy at that 39 points. Italy have been very quiet at the front, interesting enough. They're very involved here, but I have not seen them stick their nose in the wind. Whereas I think Team Tour 2000, Callis, and Cryogen, they've been aggressive, and you can see why. They have points to make up. I think that Italy are thinking, we'll follow, we'll take down the final climb. They may have some better climbers on the team. They're probably thinking all about the KO. Maybe this last sprint as well, stay involved. But, being the current leaders, it's kind of like a GC contention situation. You guys got to go and do the work. You're the ones that have to take the points back from us, not us. We just need to be steady and stay at the top.
Yeah, I call it the Ineos versus quick step strategy. So Italy's maybe following that Ineos strategy. They're sitting in the pack a little bit more, although they are changing things up, I've got to say, with some of the classics lately. But, typically safe riding. And then you've got Cryogen here, which I'd say is more of that quick step, fiery tactics, trying to get the points out, trying to dictate the race a little bit more and catch that safe Team Italy off guard in the racing. And like I've said earlier, Cryogen is doing great. I think they've picked up points. They're pushing pace a bit. They're putting in little digs. Whether that's going to pay off at the end if they burnt too many matches hitting this climb, but I would say because of the way they're riding, it looks to be very smart riding. They've saved a couple of riders who've just been safe in the pack for that final climb.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what's going on here with Team Italy. The current leaders, we haven't seen them aggressive at all, and that's probably the smarter tactic to do if they have a confidence in their riders for the climbing. We are seeing, though, a couple others in the ranks here. that could make up later in this race as well. BRT, they definitely, the Hurricanes there at that 34 points. Quick and dirty, the Dirt Riders. Now, I'm not seeing too many dirt kits at the front of this pack. Maybe hiding. I do see 1, 2, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the back here, but I have a feeling dirt maybe been left out a little bit in this race here. Team Torquay now trying to take over toward the front. It's going to be a very quickly coming sprint here in just a moment. That is going to be the Blue World Social Ride, or World Weekend Social Ride kit that you do see. It's been named a couple of different, like it always goes back and forth. I've seen people calling it both before, but the WSR ride, one of the longest standing weekend rides.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, so that kit actually represents that long standing endurance ride that's been going on every single weekend since the beginning of the essentially beta from when Watopia launched. Julian Washington, the bridge in Zwift that's named after her. She was one of the first ride leaders of that ride. So they've adopted a pretty cool kit as far as Zwift history goes. Team T2K, Callis, it's pretty cool to see. But Team Italy now taking over to the front. I wonder if they want to be involved with this one or if they're just covering moves, because that last time through almost split the pack here, Anna.
I think they're covering moves. I think the nature of the sprint is that you've got to be in that front third around the sprint anyway because of the climb afterwards. If you're anywhere near the back, you're going to get dropped. So you kind of have to inadvertently contest it just a bit just to remain safe, which I think is what we saw with Team Italy there. They're just coming up the little climb here. We'll flatten out around this 2% grade. Drop down a touch, and then we see that climb, and we're seeing it open up already here by Cagnaluti from Team Italy. So they are trying to get involved now. So this is good to see. We thought maybe they were playing it safe, but there is a little bit of involvement now. Some catching from the back. The sprint has just opened up proper, and he is not letting them catch up behind. 11.6 watts of kg.
He might have done it. He might have done it. They're coming up so fast. Oh my gosh! To the line, he did it. Milk on through. Cryogen goes late with Echo and end up, the timing just was not there. Wow, Italy, we said they weren't going to be involved, and he just rode away with that one. And you know what's interesting, Anna, is we see this over and over again on this sprint. We saw it this morning. You come around that bend, and it seems that little downhill gradient can really give you the speed that's needed. I am really amazed and impressed by this so far, and pretty cool to see. Now, in the women's race, we got to jump over because as they hit the rainbow roads, as I nickname them once in a while here, but they have actually created a breakaway situation here with Jet was the instigator, as well as Team Spirit here. Guard is there as well. I believe it's going to be Revo. And then is it going to be Brave has gotten involved as well. I was talking about Riken needing to really show up for their team out here today, and she has done just that.
This is actually, there's two Revo and 2 Rave, I think, in the front. Yeah, that's
no, Rave,
that's
single Rave rider, single Rave rider, 2 Jet, and I believe.
Yes.
Oh no, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm saying that wrong
Revo,
as well.
1 Jet,
2
1
Revo.
Rave.
Yep, exactly. And then the Team
lots of
Spirit
colorful
is there
kits
as well.
there.
Now, L'Equip has not gotten involved. Off the back, Satsa Watts here. Shibata trying to come across. This is mayhem.
This is crazy. Shibata, I think, will try and get back on. I just saw a feather power up being dropped there by Garrett, I think, in that front group. Oh, not a good time to drop. I don't know if that was a mistake. You do have a KOM coming up, and you've not got a chance to pick up another power up, so that's devastating. That would have been perfect for that upcoming climb. Now, will Shibata be able to manage to get across 5 seconds back? I mean, this is a very, very well orchestrated attack to have these groups so far in front. I don't think they're going to get caught up. It looks like that group has just dropped back, and that impetus to catch has come out of the pack, and they are dropping at quite a rate behind now, 7 seconds.
Now, is Sox or Watts involved up front? I'm not sure that they are. So it looks like
no, they're not.
And Sox or Watts are the 2 teams that have gotten completely caught out on these attacks. Team Spirit, they do have riders up front as well as Revo. It does look like Whitney Post not involved. That's going to be the Bristol team as well. So we'll see if she can get back involved. I mean, she's a strong rider. She is a very strong rider, but that group is so far up. At this point, we're looking at 15 seconds. These gals are gone.
Yeah, I mean, this is two Revo riders we said were up in this front pack? Because that is amazing from Revo to get 2 in this 5. They don't really have to do much here. They just have to sit on some wheels and just go for those finish line points, because there's a huge amount of points on offer. You've got fastest time segment for the QOM, you've got first across line for the QOM, then you add on the overall finish points. I mean, it's an absolute haul if you can get off the front. And you can look at those, actually look at that, Nathan. Look at the 2 Revo riders. They are not on Trons, they are on climbing specific setup bikes. I think this has been a concerted tactic from them once they got onto these distinct climbs to make these attacks.
Really good point, actually. They have set up specifically. They've been following moves, put these 2 riders in here. And from what we can see for these riders, let me see who's involved here still for Revo, because this is I want to start get some ideas on these names. Garrett here, it looks like from Revo. I'm gonna see if we can bring up some of the information on Kim Garrett. 48.
Yeah, looks like
is that 48 kilogram rider? I mean, this rider is woo. Absolutely going to be a climbing monster out here today.
Yeah, for sure. And then you have Zena Lutfi as well from Canada, also in Revo, who I think is that one that's up in the front. These guys have got some serious power numbers, but I think Garrett is the one to watch. Unfortunately, like I said, I think I saw her drop the feather on almost a flatter portion of the course, so not sure if that was intentional. That could prove to be devastating later on. But Shibata, this is definitely one to watch out for as well. Very, very high watts per kg for a 20-minute effort. 5 watts per kg for a 20-minute effort. Who knows what that's going to look like for this, which takes about 3.5 minutes, and it already looks like Lutfi there is dropping wheels. But a reminder with this climb is it's not a gradient the entire way up. You do have steps, so there's 3 steps where it really, really kicks up, and then it sort of flattens off in the middle. So you do have time, if you get dropped, to sort of catch up on the flatter portions and put in the efforts for the climbs.
Looking at just from a pure numbers game, this looks to be a Lutfi versus Shibata. A Garrett versus Shibata situation. I'm looking at Riken here. Yeah, I mean, they seem to be the 2 strongest on paper, but we are seeing we are seeing Gata though on a little bit of a follow. We'll try and see, but Shibata off the back here at this point. So we'll see if she can try and come back, because they really lost one of their strongest riders in and amongst that. That's what it would have been. But looking through here, we're gonna see what Hiroka Gata has got as well. When it comes to that, now we are into the climb, 13% gradient here, and Garrett is doing exactly what we thought she would. Yeah, on the 5-minute here, a little bit weaker than Garrett here. We'll see if Gata can follow all the way through, but on race day, it's like all in, chips on the table, and we'll see what Gata can do.
I think Garrett's pulling away here. Look at those numbers that she is pushing. Huge watts you can see on the top left-hand side of the screen. And just each time it kicks up to over 14%, she is gapping Goda behind her just a bit. And Lutfi, who I thought had dropped off the pace, has managed to get back on. So amazing job here from Lutfi and Garrett from Revo. They have absolutely dominated. This is a very, very impressive performance. And I think Garrett, when it kicks up here, will just put in a little dig and lose the wheel of Goda. Not sure though what power up Goda might have as she manages to get back on that wheel. I mean, this is a real one-on-one battle for the finish line here. They've dropped everyone else off. This is going to be a battle right to the line to see who gets this. It kicks up to 17% there. This is absolutely brutal. Look at those heart rates. Look at those watts. A huge RPM as well. 97, 98 RPM. They are spinning the legs with huge power coming up. Very, very impressive riding here from Garrett and Goda.
Yeah, and this is the time for them to shine here at this point. The Jet Ladies racing team, they're currently sitting at 30 points. They're 6th place. Revo, though, also at that 2nd place right now at that 38. So lots of points for grabs. Team Spirit, I'm not seeing them really much of anywhere in this conversation. As we look behind, where are the orange jerseys? They're nowhere to be seen in sight. All the points for fastest through the segment and first across the line, they are up for grabs right here, right now. There is only one other opportunity. If one of the orange jerseys behind rested until they hit the bottom of this climb and go all in to try and beat this time, we'll see if that could happen. But have a feeling this is going to be a big upset for the current standings in this league right now. Goda versus Garrett to the line. Last little kick. Here comes that arrow power up Anna. But it's a feather. Which one's going to win?
Oh, Garrett had the feather. I thought she dropped it accidentally, but she's got that feather on the perfect part of the course. I think she has to take this out. That arrow is going to have no value right now on a 13% grade. It'll stop by the time she gets to the flat part. Here we go, Garrett. 1 second lead over Goda, pushing higher watts. Goda not giving up, though. She's really, really pushing right to the line, but I think it's going to be Garrett has taken this out. That is an amazing finish from the Revo rider with the bike that's got the climbing set up. Tron comes in second with Goda. That was an awesome battle between two phenomenal females in the last part of this race.
Absolutely great to see. Loving the battles here coming in this women's racing as always. Third place across line 1013. I'm gonna call that the Star Wars name there coming on through. I feel like I'm talking about C3PO right now. Riken with Rave. Shibata the next one across the line. Artegard here, followed up by Ward. Ward's gonna be happy with that as her teammate is crossing the line, arms in the air, cheering her on. Jay Wood's going to be the next rider here for the top 10. And then the battle behind with Coetzer and C-Star Racer girl Whitney Post trying to kick to the line. Most likely got Michael Sweet in her ear screaming at this moment. Get there. Endo from Jet still pulling some points. I have not seen too many orange jerseys. This is a huge upset for Team Spirit.co. And I have a feeling they're going to be going back to the drawing board. They need to pick up your whiteboard there, Anna.
I think so. I think maybe what this shows is the Electric Spirit crew could be very good at team time trialing, and perhaps Jet isn't. This is kind of how we see, I think, some of the points mixing up a bit is in the scratch races. If you've got a few riders who are very, very strong, but that talent is hidden when they're in the team time trial format, I think this is where you see all the mix-ups happening. So it's a great format to have all the team time trials mixed up with the scratch racing, where we see riders like Goda there from Rave just come to the forefront and have an absolute stellar performance. That was very impressive.
We actually have a little bit of a break off the front, interesting enough, in the men's race. It does look like they took an early flyer at the bottom of the climb. Seeing 34. Is this going to be right? No, that's not ahead, I don't believe. 34.6 here. Hutchings and a few others here. Webb trying to get across, it looks like, in 36th place. This is going to be the main chase group, but it is going to be Hutchins, Beak, and the Quick and Dirty rider. So two Tour 2K Callus riders off the front with the Quick and Dirty team, it looks like. So it doesn't look like anybody's too interested in chasing this down. You know, first across the line is a lot of points, right? Fastest through the segment is what the riders behind are thinking about. And I have a feeling they're thinking, we're going to catch these boys anyways. Let them do their thing. They're wasting some energy, and we'll get them when we get to the bottom of this climb.
Yeah, but they're pushing some pretty big numbers there. Look at that Quick and Dirty rider, 6 watts a kg along this 0%er. So these guys are, if they can start working together, this is where it's difficult in Zwift to kind of work together with a breakaway, because you can't actually, you're not on their Discord channel, and you don't want to put the messages up on screen, so you can't talk to them like you could in real life. So it's a little bit harder for a 3-person breakaway, I think, to sort of work together well. And you can see that already 2 seconds back, led by a lot of those Italian riders actually. So they might have started to get a little bit concerned and just pulled it back in very fast. So 1 second back, they'll get caught on this flat portion, hit a bit of a downhill where they'll definitely get rolled in, because that backpack will have the momentum. And then I think it'll just be save those legs for that big climb.
It does look like they, as you did say there, Anna, the catch is going to be happening. It's going to be inevitable. Tour 2K Cast, they've really been taking. I'm loving the racing tactic. It's been really great to see. It's just not playing out. They rolled the dice, and sometimes you end up with snake eyes, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening here. So they're about to take this left-hand turn, and it's really one of the worst. I mean, the pack couldn't have timed it better for that catch. It's like right when they're about to hit the climb, and up they go, and all said and done for those boys who are off the front. Now Beak, though, right back to the front. Interesting enough, this boy seems to have power all day long here. 186 piece per minute already, though, at the bottom of this climb. We're about to see some orange numbers at the 7 to 8 here for a long time. So Paolini, though, we said Team Italy, they're the ones to watch out for. A little bit of kick coming from him.
Oh, and people are just riding a little bit.
No, I'm not sure what's
Whoa,
happening. I have
no.
literally never seen this before. This is
Wow,
an
flying
interesting.
riders. That is
Yeah, it looks like they're
insane. I've
making
never
their
seen
way
that
back
either.
on over to the climb. We'll see how that ends up playing out
Amazing.
for them.
But we are keeping an eye on these Italian flags because I think they have been relatively quiet. I've seen a couple of attacks, but you're relatively quiet for Team Italy. I think this is where they're going to open it up. Imagine if they could get first, second, third. I mean, there's some
I'm not
crazy
ever.
riding
I
going
think
on.
they're. I want to know what the riders on their end saw. I would really like to know what they're seeing right now because that is the most interesting situation I've ever seen on broadcast. I mean, it does look like they're all hammering away still. 6.4 back to the course, and
And then off again.
Sunderland. So let's see if we can find the front end of the race here.
So there we go. A lot of feathers being dropped now. They are hitting that, was a 10% kick there. Flattened off,
I think
relatively
Team Italy
speaking,
just hit the
7.
nuclear
Yeah.
bomb. They hit the
And
nuclear
everyone
bomb.
just got
And
exploded
everyone
off.
just and everyone just I mean their watts went so crazy that the road broke. And Team Italy, that was their plan. They had a plan. They did the old school Halo disconnect, and everyone got disconnected and found themselves all over the stage. So Team Italy's in
man.
Oscar. Fouled up our car in Ludi. It's going to be Abram here as well instead. Cryogen trying to follow it up. So it is, again, the top 3 teams are involved at the front end of this race. They're already a good ways up and over the top of the climb. This is going to be that little bit of a 0% gradient for just a moment here, Anna. It does look like Italy may have this one in the bag.
Look at this. I mean, we talked about it. They were quiet during the flat portions. Now Team Italy 1-2. If they can hold off Abram, I mean, they've gapped the rest of the pack. All they've got to worry about is Abram now, but they're pushing huge numbers. They can work together, jump on each other's wheels. They've got this last little kick to the line. Great performance from Team Italy. We thought they might be putting this kind of tactic into play. Look at those bikes again that they've chosen, neither on Trons. Like we saw on the women's race, it is the climbing, more of a climbing setup, the light wheels with the S-Works, and that has paid off dividends. So I'm loving to see this. Actually, people, go review your bike choice for the 4th time already and maybe pick that climbing bike setup because this has proven good in the men's and women's race.
Right to the line. Abram, he's going to do it. Yeah, Abram nipped him at the line. But Team Italy, they've stacked almost the podium completely. That's the top 5, top 6. Tortu Callis, lots of riders we're seeing from them. Quick and Dirty are still here as well. Z-Sun, another Team Italy rider. They are stacking this top 15. Iggy, SZ, but I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to be stopped in this division. West 1A. Z understatement now coming on through. Mannert here from WTRL. Team Tortu Callis. They still have a few riders here at the front, but just not enough here to battle against that Italy just stacking things. And they were so smart about it, too. They only sent 1 or 2 riders to the sprints. They saved everything for this final climb, and they put at least 5 riders, I think, in the top 15.
Yeah, that was extremely good tactics. I mean, like I said, quiet.
Also, that bomb to blow up the road. If you blow up the road and make everybody go into the atmosphere, they sent everyone into the atmosphere, and next thing you know, you see Team Italy at the front. I mean, that's all there is. That must have been the other tactic.
What a power up!
Yeah, that is the power up. The atmosphere power up. The road blow up atmosphere power. We need a shorter name for that one. The mushroom.
Yeah, I like the
That's
atmosphere
real
power
mushroom.
up. Send people into the sky. That was great. Oh, fantastic. Seeing some of the yeah, some other riders coming in here. Kiwi shout out for B Dobbs there, racing for London team. Early start, so good to see him in the top 35 as well.
See if we can jump around a little bit here and the other. I know a lot of the other categories, they do show up looking for a little bit of coverage. We'll see if we can jump around and find some of the B category riders in the women's race, if they're still out on course here, as well as the B category riders in the men's. We do try and focus in our coverage, though, for the duration of the race on the main broadcast that is scheduled. It does look like the B category for the women have finished up already, though, out on course. So we'll see what's happening in with the B category for the men. And we are hanging out with Lego here for just a moment. Anna, later today, Are you on DS or anything later tonight for the Americas, or what's happening?
I will DS. I was going to be racing. I do race for a B team now, but it's really hard. I thought it was not going to be as hard as it was, and at 20 weeks pregnant, those sprints are just
not everybody might know. Not everybody might know. Wait, well, why is it so? Yeah, it's supposed to be hard, Anna. Of course.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the problem?
So,
well, there's more
it's
to
a little
the
bit
story.
harder than usual. Yeah, when you're in zone 2 and your heart rate's around the 170s, it's a bit tricky to go for those sprints. I think I may go DS. I am entered though, so I'll see how it feels later. But I do like watching a few of these races, seeing what's happened, and then kind of put those tactics into play as well. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at today with the USA East division.
Nice. Well, when you got an extra human that's not pedaling, you've got a tandem without power. You got a tandem without
Exactly. Plus the extra weight up that KOM, so less power, more weight is just it's not a great equation.
Pedaling. You got to tell them to get pedaling. Come on now.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Yeah.
We're just going to catch the end of the Bs here. This is great. Glasgow Tri Club here in the B category with BG on the front there. Squirrels. Is this the second time we've seen Squirrel today, or is that a different squirrel?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Mentioned them at the start, but
well, no, at APAC
before.
there was a squirrel in APAC too.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if that is the same. There might be two squirrels. So there's lots of squirrels in the world.
Or a
but I don't know
very
if this is the
impressive.
same squirrel.
Yeah. There's a lot of squirrels in New York as well. I remember when I went there. But that would be very impressive. These guys, squirrels catching up pretty quickly, but I think this rider in front, BG, has noticed that, put in some watts, but I think Squirrel may have this. I think Squirrel's looking really strong here, coming into this last little climb before it flattens off to the line. Yep, feather power up. Yep, there we go. Squirrel will overtake,
yes.
I think. Yeah, nice. Perfect timing.
Glasgow tried to hold on, but Squirrel had the steady effort and the kick to the line. Takes it down in the B category. 188, 190 beats per minute now.
Ooh.
Coming in for B Squirrel. 112 RPM, spinning to win. Glasgow try now. Coming to the forefront there, Valgren, the Danish rider in the representing kit. Always like to see that from the DZR. Then it's going to be Verhoeven, well-known rider amongst the broadcast here. Team Netherlands then, followed up by Hughes, Robertson, Mosbeck from Team Vision. Well-known rider. This guy's been around from early days. Hanging out with one of the old school crews. So on the Tron bike, he's got quite the setup. What do you think of this, though? I mean, look at what's the fashion police say on this one for 15?
I mean,
no gloves.
No socks.
No, he's got socks. He's got socks. They're black, aren't they?
Does he?
He's got the short
tiny,
socks,
tiny
though.
little socks? Yeah, no, I don't think so.
tiny
That's
little
gone.
socks.
No
Gomez,
tiny
F
little
Cancer
socks.
team. I'm loving these guys. They're always in chat. Good on them. Bang Madsen. Man, a lot of the old school riders in this B category for West. I mean, this is kind of like, you know what's interesting, Anna, is that the 130 crew, that actually is the most old school crew. The 130 start time for streams was the original start time for streams. And the fact that we're seeing in this B category all of these old school names, I mean, I recognize all of these names. It's so cool to see, actually, looking back now. And then obviously lots of new riders that have come into the scene. But there's a ton of riders here that have been around from 4 years ago for the broadcast, which is always awesome to see. Actually, it looks like it's just going to be part of the mixed category. Van Houweling coming in for 27th. Awesome to see.
Wow. Really, really strong ride there from Van Houweling from Provision. Oh, I love seeing that. We saw that in APAC as well. Some women really getting into the top numbers of, I mean, that's a field of 98, top 30. Impressive. Really, really good work.
Yeah, always super impressive. Always great to see the mixed categories and women showing up and throwing down amongst the men. So now is that? I'm gonna leave the terminology alone. I might get in trouble. there was a thing when guys didn't like getting. I mean, I'll say it. The guys didn't like getting chicked. I don't like getting chicked.
Oh, hate that
you got
term.
Chicked.
Hate
you
that
got
term.
Chicked. See, okay, I'm glad to know. I want to know what you think. That's why I said it, because I want to know what you think.
Oh, some people don't mind it. Some people, I hate it. I just drives me insane. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of. I don't know. These women are strong, and if you can't put out the power to catch them, it's a pretty
Well, look,
even race
speaking
there.
of, this is a
Yeah,
mixed
exactly.
category race, and LD squirrels, the squirrels are everywhere.
That is fantastic. Leading out the C's. Phenomenal. With Boyd. Another female racer right behind.
London Dynamo showing these boys what's up right now. Douglas trying to chase it down, and the big burly
dropped like a
Avatar
stone.
not able to bring this back. Choi and Boyd here on the attack.
Oh, I love this. They are using their strengths to their advantage. They're pulling away a 1-2 punch on the group behind. Chung there desperately trying to catch up. Looks like they might get close, but will they be able to keep this away? They're dropping power-ups all over the show in that group behind just to get on terms with Choi and Boyd here.
The LD Squirrel, London Dynamo Squirrels here, a part of the Zwift Racing League. For the standings right now, I'm going to see if we can get an idea of what's happening here, because this is interesting to see in the mixed category. You know, are they also being an extremely competitive team in this C category right now? Squirrels, I'm not seeing in the... Oh, I'm looking at the... Well, that's because you're looking at the women's, Nathan. Looking through here. It is going to be currently in 6th place, actually, overall right now. So, great to see. And this is really... This course, it seems, has thrown a little bit of a wrench into the current standings across most of these categories, which is very interesting to show what kind of race courses we've had so far. We've had a TTT, and we've had a sprinty tactical flat race. Now we put in the climbing race, and bam, it looks like things are really thrown on its head a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we hit another TTT next week, so I think some of the teams are going to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they need to do when they hit the scratch races after that, because after that you've got straight into the cobbled climbs, which again, similar to this one, a bit of a race of attrition, a little bit different. It's more of a 1 to 2 minute power effort than this sort of 3 to 4, but still really tricky, and everyone's got to be looking at the final race around Surrey Hills. Very, very tricky race. Works well for the climbers. New power up with the anvil being used. So, yeah, teams here will be getting a little bit of motivation, seeing that they've done so well on this climbing kind of a course, and go, yeah, booyah, bring on the rest of the series. I think we got this.
I really like that we have a mix of courses here that open up a lot more options. You know, a lot of times there's the demotivation that we've seen so far amongst some of the teams where it's like, oh, well, it's all the same. It's the same as same. No, this is a very differentiated here, as we see Choi from the London Dynamo Squirrels here walking away. They're currently the 6th place overall. In past seasons, we kind of have seen this like upper echelon just kind of walk away with it. This is a 6th place team, and now they're going to bump themselves up maybe to the top spot, at least probably to close to a podium or a podium spot at this point with this ride away. Choi and Boyd going 1-2. Absolutely amazing. A great ride here from this. It looks like all women's team, actually.
Oh, no, Robinson, who looks like to be about 8th place, is a male, so it is a mixed team.
Mixed.
But they're going to have three in the top 10. Impressive.
TFC. Looks like Barbera, KRT. Rick Barbera. Good to see him hammering away still out here today. And Robinson, as you did say, across the line. Douglas, Riley, Buchart now. It looks like BRT getting involved. And this is going to be a Bikes and Beers kit here from T. Riley. I wonder who's using the Bikes and Beers kit, because this is always a well-known kit, that's for sure, out here. So solid rides here across the line. We are going to start losing riders, everybody, as we get into the later parts, as this is going to be what it looks like.
Everyone's chilling out at the finish, having a coffee.
This is the damage that's been done. That's what we're looking at right here.
There's no warm down.
No, everyone's just
lying on the floor.
Totally wrecked. Totally wrecked. This is what Zwift Racing does to the reality of everybody. So it looks like Italy threw another bomb into the middle of everything. So we're going to go ahead and head back on over to the studio. We'll start getting results in just a moment. That was the C category finishing up. Again, I think the highlight of that is obviously the mixed teams and the women amongst the boys there walking away with it. Absolutely awesome to see the competition. And that's one thing that I like about Zwift and the categories that at that middle to lower end. I don't even know like using that terminology, but in that category, that it gives the opportunity actually to race
Oh,
across the genders. Very cool to see.
very cool. I mean, women can climb. And we saw that in that CCAT with Lillian and Sarah Boyd. They're both from the same team, coming in first and second. I mean, huge points for them. I think we saw it as well in APAC, some really dominant performances from those mixed teams in the B category. And I think that's going to be a sort of format that people may gravitate to a little bit more. Some of the categories which maybe aren't so populated by the top women can then jump into a mixed team and really just shake things up a bit with the men's league. I'm liking it. I'm seeing maybe a little bit of future there for that mixed team.
Yeah, 100%. We're seeing to see if I mean that coming from sixth place, we might see a pretty awesome jump here for them here. We'll see how that ends up playing out. We do actually 6,056 racers so far today in the ZRL from what I'm
What?
hearing. So absolutely
Oh,
cool to see. Now it does look like we do have some new results pages thanks to WTRL. They're always putting in a lot of work. Absolutely love what they have been doing. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the women's results. This is how things ended up playing out on the day here. If we can, we'll go ahead and bring these on in. Anna, go ahead and take this away for us.
so it looks like Garrett, which we saw a very stellar performance from her, leading that out for the Revo Aces. Just waiting for those other ones to populate in. Hiroko there from Jet Ladies Racing Team in second. Elle there from Team Electrospirit. Dotco Chanticleer in third. Revo Arrows again with that fourth place. Lutfi Femme Fort powered by Stages in fifth. Rave A2 Euro in sixth. Jet again in seventh. Team Electrospirit.co Chanticleer. We didn't think there were many in that front group. It looks like they got third and eighth. Ninth, the Revo Errors as well. And 10th, another Team Electric Spirit, Chanticleer. So actually, they did better than we thought.
Yeah, awesome to see. Awesome to see. Coming in here from Garrett, that Revo Arrows, they obviously showed up with a plan, and as you said, they showed up with the climbing bikes, which is pretty cool to see. Jet Ladies, they tried to hold it down. That attack there from Goda, or that follow from Goda was what we thought may be able to pull it off, but not able to do so on the day. Now, Team Electric Spirit, as you said, they did end up in third here, so they are going to get some solid points. They did have an eighth place rider here, but I think a lot of the riders that were lower down in this category making a name for themselves out here today. So definitely be on the watch out for how things are going to play out for the rest of this season, because I don't think that this is going to be a walk away one bit, and that seems to be a theme actually across the board here so far. It does look like it's going to be Pick Advance here. Socks are Pizza Party taking it down at the top.
No.
They're battling it out between each other. Pretty cool to see here, Anna. As C. Blowers, they're coming across as well. It's only a 1 second difference. K Arts followed up by Jodique. And then it's going to be Janssens and Brain. The Belgian Zwift riders here rounding out. And I think Belgian Zwift riders might end up walking away with this because of how much they stacked the top end of this. But Soxwell's Pizza Party, though, they're also with a seventh with Jay Hargreaves. So having those top two spots, most likely going to give it to them on the day. We'll have to wait and see. Jay Router, they're coming on through for eighth, and it's going to be S. Goat, followed up by Jay Hey from the herd of Galapagos Penguin. I'm loving the name.
And looking here at, I think it will be C category, we've got Texeria from TVT Furios taking it out. E Green from Bella Vito in second. The Belgian Zwift Riders also represented here in third. Another Bella Vito, so that's great, second and fourth. M Stride there from Satonia. F Armstrong from WTRL Drafting Dinos. Another Belgian Zwift Rider, Indictus. Another Drafting Dinos rider from Smythe, and then a Rafa rider, Connolly, and Boyle from RWB Serrano Hams in 10th.
Yeah, we'll bring in a little bit more of the rave music, I think, this time around. Change it up a little bit because rave have been showing up on the day. They're part of this one. This is their theme song. Well, I've made it their theme song. I don't know if they're going to appreciate that. That is the situation in EMEA Division 3 for the women. Let's go ahead and see how things are playing out with the men's racing here. It does look like I think we got some results in here. And it does look like for the men's racing, it's still the women's racing. Yeah, for some reason we're got a new setup here, everybody. We're gonna see if we can bring this on in for you here. There we go. Apologies on that, everybody. Go ahead and take that away from us.
Looks like Division 1 ACAT here. Cagnaluti from Team Italy 1 took that out. That was an amazing finish. But Abram there managed to get it over the Team Italy 123 for the team for 2000 Calais. Then third and fourth were Team Italy with Zanaska and Bina Hyam in fifth for Cryogen. So they had a lot of early tactics, but unfortunately just one rider in the top 10. Sina from Team Italy is amazing. 4 riders in the top 6. Stag from Quick and Dirty in 7th. Another Calais rider in Beak in 8th. WTRL Skyrockets in 9th. And Ravel, another Calais rider, 10th. So it looks like a Italy-Calais sort of sweep almost of that top 10.
And looking through for the Bees, it is going to be the Squirrel coming on through from the Dirty Beast Hellhounds, followed up by B Greenhug from Glasgow Tricycle. I thought it was Tricycles there, Tri-Clyde. Followed up by Valgren, as we saw from the DCI Road Rascals, and it's going to be H. Verhoeven, Team NL. B2. T. Rosenkrantz there coming on through from KW Wheelers. Then Van. Here, just a little bit. The Van Sandrud there coming through for the Team NLB2. R. Foxton there for TFC Magneto. R. Vermeer there for Team NLB2. S. Pruitt there coming through for the Dirty Beast Hellhounds for 9th. And then M.D. Wild there for Team Netherlands. Wow, Team Netherlands absolutely stacking this at the top end. I mean, nothing but those flags 4th through 10th. And very, very... interesting how that might play out for the points because, the Dirty Beast Hellhounds, they took it down for first and then also proved the 9th. But with that many riders in team competition, that is a solid day for that Team NL.
Yeah, for sure. We don't know if any of those riders too went for a fastest time segment, so they could have even swept up more points there. So we're looking at the C's here. We've got El Choi. This was the great race finish with the 2 women taking out first and second from LD Sawyer's Squirrels. We've got third Husband and Socks for Watts Up Doc. S. Chung for TFC Thor, J. Sawyer for Django CC. Is it Ninja? Yeah, it's Ninja. CC Mkango. R. Barbara for KRTC Love Guns. S. Robinson from LD Sawyer Squirrels. So that's the third rider of theirs in the top 7. A. Douglas from Cranley CC Babs and T. Riley from the same team. Rounding out 10th with L. Bocart from BRTC section.
And then in the D category, we'll see if we've I'm not sure we've got anybody on through yet for the D category. So we'll have to point you guys on over toward WTO.racing, most likely still out on course for a little while. So that is going to be it for a lot of battles to the line there today. They were very close. It made it super exciting, actually, up and over the top of that KOM. Yeah. As well as a lot of breaks, I think, that the sprint section there, Anna, for this, the racers made the race here. I mean, there was definitely a lot of breaks that happened after that sprint section, especially with that little bit of a puncher afterwards for that 4%. I think a lot of the Americas may be watching this going, oh, that's how it's done. And perhaps be able to put some riders on the back foot, 180 plus beats per minute, or, at threshold, depending on what your heart rate is, going into actually not 4% uphill grenade, actually into an 8% uphill grenade with power-ups being thrown. Definitely could be a crucial point to see some breaks, but the KOM seemed to be where a lot of the batteries were charged for.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw that Cryogen had a huge amount of tactics in predominantly like the first 30K of the race, but clean sweep almost by Team Italy. So you can play it safe really and then just really go all in for that climb or mix it up a bit and try and get some breakaways. But yeah, that racing in EMEA was exciting. I think more tactics thrown out, more dynamic racing. We saw people riding through the sky. I mean, we had everything, I think.
That definitely was one of the highlights of the day, riding through the sky out there today. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us today. We'll be back from America's East later today. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit those like buttons and subscribe if you want to know anytime that we do go live. We are live on Twitch, Facebook, as well as YouTube. You can always find our VODs. All of the streams are scheduled throughout the rest of the season as well for every one of the divisions and categories that we will be covering. The category and division that we are covering on the day is in the title of each one of the streams over on YouTube, if you are wondering what we're going to be covering. Also, WTRL have been awesome enough to provide a page for all of the streams as well over on WTRL.racing within the Zwift Racing League if you want to find them over there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you. It's going to be myself and Dave in just a few hours for America's East, and then Kate and Dave for America's West. As always, a very long day of broadcast. Anna, thanks for getting up early and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, no problems. It was fun. Good to hear your stories, Nathan.
More coffee. All right. See you later, everybody. Right on.